Welcome back, everybody, to the Back Nine coverage of Round 3 of the 2021 Las Vegas Challenge presented by Innova Champion Discs. Brian Earhart back here again with Nate Perkins. Nate, what's going on?
What's good, Brian? We saw some good disc golf on that front nine. James Conrad hitting strides, 6 under par, looking great. Garrett struggled a little bit on the putting green. Good to see Clint Calvin making it onto some coverage. And Ricky Wysocki, a couple bogeys there on the front.
And you know, we saw Clint Calvin was throwing a lot of solid drives. You could tell he was frustrated with his putt in the front nine, and I'm hoping he can make some adjustments in the back. As you can see, the leaders of this event, Calvin and Ezra, are not slowing down.
No,
they
they're
are
not.
still making a push. And this factory course we're playing has a pretty challenging back nine. Hole number 10 is...
Super tricky back nine,
Yeah,
Brian.
hole number 10 is a fast green, OB to the right here, and it's so hard to get your disc to land softly here.
It's somewhat blind. It's kind of hard to judge the distance. Kind of hard to tell how far past that tree that the basket really is.
Yeah. And James is going to be about 40 away here. If you have this distance of sidearm, this is a great play.
Ooh, he needs that to skip and roll. And he just started that one out a little too wide. Oh, Clint's also lining up the backhand. This backhand gets a little tricky right there. That palm is right off the tee, and you kind of need to flex it out
Yes.
over the OB water.
Yeah, throwing it with turn at the OB. So it's a lot of trust in your equipment here.
That setup is so high. I love that we both brought up Vino. Just that setup, chest height with that disc
Yes.
as he's pulling back.
Very mechanical motion. Very consistent. Garrett just goes straight at it. And the card likes it, and I'm sure Garrett likes that one as well.
That's that T-bird.
Yes, I do believe so. It looks like a flippy T-bird. And there is James finally not hitting metal on one of those long jump putts. He's got another long one coming back.
Oh, yes. Count it.
And that actually, from
50.
what I've noticed watching Ricky warm up, he goes to this distance often. He
That's where he
practices from
starts.
this distance very often and reps these 50-footers. That is so, I hate to say automatic, but he looks so deliberate in the way he delivers the disc from that distance.
I mean, over the past 5 years, he's the best in the world from that distance. No.
And there's, I think, the first 3-putt we've seen from James. Clint capitalizes and snags a birdie after a beautiful drive. He threw kind of a hyzer flip stand-up off the tee instead of that flex shot we were talking about. Very solid shot there. And Garrett with the T-bird.
That's a good putt from Garrett after that 3-putt he just had on
Yes.
the previous hole.
Yeah, someone who has that pitch putt style that he has. Kind of an old-school putting style. Tough when the wind picks up. Hole number 11, what do you think about this hole?
Par 4, 565, drivable for all 4 of these players. There is OB right and OB left if it continues to carry. Okay, he had the distance. If you kind of saw it off and get that right to left wind up underneath your wing, you can find that out of bounds left. That green is the only danger in the center of the fairway. That's a perfect shot.
A beautiful
I mean,
drive from Clint.
He just smoothed it right across that green. Garrett can definitely reach this. Oh, no. Oh, and he finds the pond. That disc could be gone forever.
Yeah, that thing flipped over right out of his hand. And James tried to lean his whole body into that flex shot. Let's actually go to a quick form check here. I want to show Ricky's drive. Look at this high reach back that he does.
The scoop.
And I think that's the reason he chooses that kind of high Annie nose up hyzer as opposed to a pure hyzer. It kind of forces him to do that.
Exact opposite here, Clint, with the dip. He's dipping into that reach back.
And then look at this off arm from Garrett. He slams his off arm down like he's pulling a lever, similar to kind of a figure skater doing a pirouette. It allows you to spin a lot faster. Yeah, a lot of different throwing styles from this card. We have James and Ricky with kind of the higher extension, and then Garrett and Clint with more kind of textbook positions on their shots.
That's a catastrophic misfire from Garrett right there.
Yes.
I mean, he's thinking 2 on this hole. Now he's 4 at best, and what a forehand approach right there. Wow.
Wow, Garrett with the forehand approach.
Mm-hmm. And James didn't quite get that panic to flip up once again. He's got a little bit of a tricky. Oh! Kind of looked like it flashed it from his angle.
Yeah.
Like it just skated off that desert gravel, you know? It's like sand that has turned into a gravel.
Yes. Almost
so
a nice,
skippy.
Nice soft drop in there. And Clint and Ricky have also made pretty easy work of this hole. And you definitely know from the speed it came out of Garrett's hand, he wanted the eagle on this one and just got over on it a little bit too much. He's going to settle for a par after a great up and down. We're going to move into hole number 12, the par 5, 987 feet. It is eagleable. We are seeing a lot of power rollers on this second shot to try to access this green. We'll see what the wind is doing here.
I remember tailwind on this hole.
Ricky definitely threw something flippier. I think that went farther than it looked.
It looked low, but it's 450 easy. That's flipping up late in his flight. He's latitude 64, correct?
Yes.
I'm thinking Ballista Pro or something.
Yes. Or even just a straight up ballista.
Flip.
Just a bit high. That tailwind is not letting it get over on turn.
Now he needs this to get down. There is a sidewalk left. Check up.
He should be all right. There is a high revolution golf shot right there. That thing is spinning. Great shot. That's actually a great angle to the basket as well. Are we going to see a roller here from James?
It looks like he's lining one up, Brian.
This is going to be a tough one to lay down.
That tree right there on the left. Oh, he lays it down all right. That's a great angle.
Come on.
Flip up.
Wow.
It's just holding that cut. That needs to get down.
Oh.
No way. That's so unfortunate. Oh, Ricky getting real greedy from the right side there, trying to lay down a roller over the bunker.
Oh my gosh.
This
might be deep.
I'm not on the green.
That's almost to the green of the next hole.
What?
Okay. And is
No
Clint laying
way.
one down too?
That is so pinched off.
I'm guessing he threw something a lot flippier than the rest of those players, but I didn't quite see where that one ended up.
Looks like he was safe. Oh, what a follow
Garrett
through
with
from
the
Garrett.
helicopter follow through.
Oh, that's holding cut. That's going to go past Ricky's.
We did see this red disc go about 200 feet long on a 550-foot hole at the All-Star Weekend. And that is also not going to quite finish where we want it to finish here.
There's all these players are playing this hole completely
Yeah.
different.
Clint's going to go sidearm to about 25.
Another well-played forehand approach from Double G. Ricky putting back at this after an insane pinched off roller.
Nice putt from Clint. A roller that Ricky's thrown that's come to mind is hole 4 at Nokia from the European Open in 2019, I believe.
I remember that one.
Patent pending roller on one of the hardest hardest tee shots that we've seen, and laying it down and parking the basket for birdie from about 480 feet. And I've just seen Ricky throw some of the most ridiculous scramble rollers of any player that's been on tour.
I sure do hope we can make it back to Finland.
That
This year.
would be wonderful.
All right, hole 13, par 3, 363. They shortened this one up just a little bit this year. Sand trap, hazard, green, OB left. Very reachable right now in this tailwind.
Okay.
Wow.
And
What a shot.
kind of an expected
So
roll. Yeah, but I was not expecting that. I thought he was going to stall something to the basket there, but he went pure hyzer.
Well, that looks a little inside.
Oh.
And that tailwind just pushing these discs.
Yeah. Little deep. He might be laying that one up with the OB bunker right behind it. And Garrett is also seeing that huge hyzer as feasible here. It's a real roll of the dice coming into a green that sloped with that much, degree of hyzer, but he's looking at the basket. I am kind of intrigued, to be honest. I have not seen that play from anybody else except this card.
Ooh,
And that's
finds
safe.
it. Finds the green in between the bunker and the golf green.
Kind of a safe run from Clint. Just over the rim for Ricky. That's another birdie. And he's keeping up a pretty good pace here.
Yeah, that's 4 in a row for Ricky after that bogey to close out the front 9.
Clint's going to tap in a par. Hole number 14 is a very long, challenging 441-foot par 3, slightly uphill, OB green to the left, an OB road on the right, not that close to the basket. The players do have room to work with, but it is a smash of a drive. Oh,
What?
okay. I guess it's the
Another-
shortest hole. That
We
is a
didn't-
spike hyzer.
We didn't do our homework. I didn't know that was even
I did
an
not
option.
know that was even an option.
And James likes it too. I love it. I love that they're just feeding off each other a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that James was going high hyzer before Ricky threw.
Wow. And Clint's sticking to his game plan, going straight at it. But you know what? I think there was a crosswind, and I think that's why they played the wide shot. Clint's got slammed down a little bit. But to even get that hyzer to work, you have to have a lot of acceleration on the disc.
They're throwing it out over the out-of-bounds sidewalk, too.
Mm-hmm. Garrett's going to be circle 2, but still looking at it. And the best part about this basket, even if you're far away, there is that little bucket, like, around the basket, so you're... Oh!
Yes! Oh, he just makes me want to run it in with him. I just want to chase him down.
Here's your chance.
You did it, Ricky!
And like I said, this basket is in a forgiving place, so you can run it from long distances and not worry about a rollaway. Great putt.
So good that he gets excited about it the way that he does.
Fucking guy.
Garrett just low again. So close.
And interesting to note, Brian, we've been here for a couple weeks now, and the course wasn't set up for practice until the Monday before the event.
At 1 p.m. on Monday.
But you could play the last 4 of the factory course and the entire innova course several weeks before. So 15, 16, 17, and 18, these players have got a lot of looks at.
And hole 15 is just another one of those giant hyzer holes.
No. There's so much right to left wind on this hole. This one's so scary going out over the out of bounds sidewalk. There's OB long and left. Ricky went over the willow.
And I believe at this point in the round, the wind had switched because the previous hole coming the other direction was a right to left. This is a left to right that slams the disc down. And kind of a rough reaction off that tree, but he still circles edge.
Wow. This card's really has us going today. That's so steep. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
too
if
steep
that
to get
had all the
there.
distance, that would have been unfair. And Garrett, from that circle's edge distance, like you were talking about, just not able to get them to really land in the basket with this wind.
Just that the trajectory compared to other players that are really efficient from that distance.
Yes. Great putt from Clint. Yeah, he's got a much more direct, flat putt than Garrett. Makes it a little easier in some of these crosswind situations. And James is picking up some steam as well. He's only 1 stroke behind Ricky.
Yeah, they're both in the ball game. I mean, this whole card is still in the game.
Garrett's going to tap in the par. And Ricky, after a huge hyzer.
It's a Firebird.
Hole number 16 is a beautiful tee shot. Downhill, turning to the right, distant shot. Big drives will land right in front of this OB green to this slightly protected basket. Be prepared for some bombs here.
Yeah, the danger in this one is getting it too nose up and not turned over, and that sidewalk OB left comes into play. That's perfect position from Ricky. He's going to have a forehand pig approach. Oh, James.
That might...
Way too turned over.
Wow, that was terrible.
And you hear James say that was terrible. They don't see that big a misfire out of James. He might have slipped on the tee pad. I'm not sure. That's an uncharacteristic miss for James. And there's a nice slow turning golf shot from Clint.
Very impressive.
There's a Halo Destroyer from G. And yeah, I don't know. That all these discs are holding turn really long. No fade out of the flight. And that's actually some unfortunate positioning by that mesquite tree.
Oh, this is a tricky up and down. Blind, baskets on top of a hill. Steep slope behind it.
Circle 2.
Death putt right there.
Good shot.
AVR X3, I believe, from Garrett.
Wow,
Or
what a shot.
potentially a rock. That might have been a standstill rock as well. Same color.
Textbook from Clint right there. Baby hyzer to flat. There's that pig from Ricky.
Yeah, he should be fine from there.
Gets a little tricky right there with those hanging willows.
And yet another one from the putting world champion, James Conrad. One of the best to do it at that distance.
No. This slides out. Right side. I mean, he had to stretch out, but it was only
Yeah,
16 feet.
that was a rough putt, for sure. And, you know, we've heard it from players that have played with Ricky. They watch him miss more putts from that distance than sometimes they watch him miss from circle 2. A little change here. What do you think about this hole, Nate?
Oh, super tricky. I mean, it requires a very specific line. Right-hand backhand turnover is there, but the righty often opts for the force-over forehand with a stable disc.
Yes, and there is a triple mando now to take away that spike hyzer that a lot of players used to throw.
You need to get this one nose down right over the crest of the hill. Any nose up at all, it's going to fade out early. 2 turned over, you can find the OB sidewalk on the left.
Garrett does exactly what you had just mentioned, and I think that's going to be out of bounds in the corner by 18's tee pad.
Oh, that was so close to perfect. He had the nose angle, he had the turn and the stability, and it just hit the top of the hill.
That's going to be a flippy disc from James, and it is moving.
That's a high-level shot to attempt.
Yeah.
That tree on the left really gets in the way of that flip-up turnover.
And Clint with a great sidearm. Should be a nice tap-in par. That would have
So
been
committed.
a serious circle 2 spectacle round if he would have cashed that one. We've seen some extremely high-level putts from the circle.
It just builds up every time he's setting up to putt. The way that he gathers his focus and
There's a reason he is a
committed.
major champion.
That's right. Just a hit band like that. I mean, that was an inch high.
Yeah. And he gallops away. And a bogey after Garrett goes just out of bounds on that drive. And I think he's playing 2 shots. I think they're
Okay.
probably making him play something a second way to check in with the tournament director later on some sort of ruling. Hole number 18, good change from the previous year. They put the basket over the road now. Players have to chance their second shot over the road and throw a good placement shot off the tee.
Nice. Shot.
Very consistent flat releases from
Yeah.
Clint. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I actually got to play Morley Field recently, his home course, and it's a very old school course with a lot of mid-range putter shots.
Oh, that was testing that telephone pole right there.
That was close.
Oh, and Ricky.
Great
Ricky
shot.
says it. That was close. JC going volt. Lets that one go a little early, kind of skirts that netting right there.
Perfect positioning. It's about 440 to the front of the green. And even Garrett is just throwing a placement shot here. But what I like about this design is the closer you get to the out of bounds, the easier your second shot is. So it's taking that risk and finding the distance you want to throw from. And Garrett sticks it next to the basket.
That is perfect shot. Whoa.
Safe.
Well, so wide that it hits that tree, drops down safe. It's a big misfire from Ricky. Oh, just a beautiful
Great
putter
putter.
approach from Clint.
Yeah, he's got that
Solid
really
round.
clean mid-range putter game. Super smooth. James sticks it to about 20. You know, this round was so interesting. We saw some really strange misfires from a lot of these really solid, consistent players, and also saw some really incredible shots.
It's a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, wow.
And call.
This one was a definite pleasure to call.
Shout out to Gatekeeper Media for working around the clock to bring you guys this footage.
Yeah,
Shout
this
out.
is a two-man team.
Really excited about the Disc Golf Pro Tour this season.
Absolutely.
The momentum is just building and building.
And it's only going to get bigger once the fans are allowed back on the course. And I think every player on tour is excited for them to come back. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. That is round 3. Ricky and James both shooting a 9 down. Clint Calvin with a 7. And James Conrad, or Garrett Gurthie, shooting a 3 under par. And there you have it, folks. We are going into the final round, and Eagle McMahon and Calvin Heimberg are going to be battling with Paul Macbeth in his favorite spot to be.
Ricky jumped to that lead
Subscribe
card.
on YouTube to Gatekeeper. We will see you for the final round.